What's up everybody, my name is WiseTV, back again with another video. I sent out a poll earlier today about entitled parents and I had some good insight. A few of you guys wanted me to do something different, so here I am. I listen to the minorities. We're doing r/idontworkherelady. It's a new series and I think it has a lot of potential and I think you guys will really enjoy it. So let's hop right into the video. My husband and I went to the giant American wholesale store, sort of like Mostas Mo today, and it was packed. I couldn't find one item I wanted on our first pass through, but I was worried about making it to an appointment on time, so I said to forget it and we got in line to check out. There were 3 people ahead of us, all packed with carts, so I decided to run back to one of the aisles we didn't check to see if I could find it. I didn't find the thing I wanted, but I did find a giant bottle of hot sauce for cheap, so I grabbed that and hustled back towards the checkout. This is where crazy lady who just wants to be mad at the world comes in. I'm weaving my way through the madness as the checkout lines and finally get to my husband, who has reached the conveyor belt thing where you load your groceries so they can be scanned. I show off the bottle of hot sauce I found and put it with the other crap, when this hoe starts snapping her fingers at me. Except I don't realize she's doing it to me because the place is a madhouse, right until she gets about 2 inches from my face. Excuse me, if you can get him something, you can get me a bag of potatoes. The red ones, not yellow. Granted, this place doesn't have a uniform and we live in an area where hair dyed unnatural colors and lots of piercings and tattoos are common. So it's not like I couldn't be employed there, except I was missing a name tag and I'm pretty sure the employees don't go fetching items or participating in PDA with customers. I was just gaping at her while my brain attempted to figure the situation out, but fortunately my husband stepped in and said, "She doesn't work here, she's my wife and she was just getting one more thing, and you're being incredibly rude." Instead of apologizing or being embarrassed like a sane person, this woman then puffed up her chest and flared her nostrils. "Well then, you're cutting in line." Husband pointed out that he had been with the cart the whole time and I literally got one more thing. At this store, you go to buy a bunch of stuff in bulk, so most people have a large packed shopping cart. A single item isn't going to add more than a second or two. Somehow being called out made this woman fly into a rage and she went storming off to find a manager, leaving her cart unattended. So once husband and I had all our stuff ready to check out, the guy behind the crazy woman passed her unattended cart and started putting his own stuff on the conveyor belt. Just one more thing that convinced me to never go back to customer service. That woman ended up wasting more time than if she just would have waited in line. That's kind of weird that that woman thought she worked there just because she brought something back to the cart. It's just common sense. I mean, like, use your brain, lady. This happened a couple of years ago. There was this place where you could fix your PCs, get help fixing it, sell your old hardware, and buy new and used stuff. I visited it regularly. One day, I was just starting a stress test on a machine I may have wanted to buy when out of nowhere this old grumpy man appeared. It was something like, "Hey, you, my computer is damn slow, fix it." He hands me his big tower and I nearly collapsed under it. Me. "Actually, I don't work here, but I think I saw this random employee just around the corner." Sure, you can have your break later. Get your lazy ass down and fix it." I was running that stress test anyway and had spare time, so out of curiosity what his problem might be, I silently began my work on his PC. Some time went by and I saw all the usual stuff. A bunch of search bars, a bit of bloatware, and a moving desktop background that took way too much GPU for such a PC. But then I opened some of his folders and there it was, a freaking big load of all sort of porn. Not that I wasn't used to that, but I realized it was time for a bit of revenge. Okay, best would be to save your private files on a USB and just reinstall Windows. "Spare me the tech talk and just fix it quick." Me, 1 decibel away from screaming, "I'm afraid your porn won't fit on a USB. It's just way too much." The OGM went fire red and under a second and death stared me. Some people began laughing. The OGM stood up, ripped his big tower, still wired into one of the old heavy monitors, from the desk, pretty much damaging all important components inside, and stomped out of the store. I felt pretty great, but was banned from the place for impersonating a staff member. Tried to explain, but to no appeal. Well, rip that guy. That's really some embarrassment right there. He shouldn't have been such a jerk to that guy, and he had it coming. I mean, in a way, this could also go in petty revenge, but it kind of sucks though that guy got banned from the store, because obviously he enjoyed going there, and he was just trying to help. He got the last laugh anyway. This event of my life takes place around Halloween. Basically, to sum up events of the story and tell you about certain things, McDonald's in my local area of North Carolina encourages people to dress up in a costume for Halloween, and I've seen people in various costumes for the holiday. Well, I was out and about getting candy for Halloween dressed as Michael Myers. It was a navy blue boiler suit, black undershirt, and a Ruby's Michael Myers mask from Amazon. The high quality $50 Michael Myers mask that you can't get from Walmart or any other cheap places, unfortunately. I'd been out to get candy and was feeling pretty hungry that night, so I went to get my usual order of french fries and a McChicken. I was driving my car there to get some food and I prefer to walk in and order as well as pick up. The drive-thrus around here can get pretty crowded with a decent amount of people. So upon my entry and sitting down at a table while people hurried and ordered their food, a manager comes out and looked very worried. He had his eyes darting around the whole place and finally he looked at me and said some name and beckoned me to follow him. I thought it was because he might have wanted a picture with me because my costume is pretty accurate to the Halloween costume. specifically the first one. I followed him and we walked into the kitchen, and I was trying to say something to him to get him to realize that I was not an employee, but he just brushed it off. Later I would find out that someone else had been dressed up as Michael Myers, but with a different mask and color of jumpsuit. The manager had forgotten due to a lot of people coming in and what's nots with costumes. This was just last year, so Michael Myers was a very popular option of dress. Also, what was a factor was the fact that the guy had a break and evidently left the store because he did not want to work on Halloween and did not inform the manager, only one of his friends there. The manager positioned me at one of the fryers and demanded that I get cooking on a batch of fries while he went to the restaurant's freezer. He brought back a bag of fries, and I, despite not working there, went ahead and set the fryer basket on the hook and helped him sort the fries in. He told me pretty much what to do because the guy there was a trainee anyway. I pretty much followed the instructions to a T. This went on for a good 5 minutes until someone brought it up and the guy who was also dressed up as Michael Myers was not returning to the store. The manager was informed and he profusely apologized to me, and he said that it was his mistake and that they were just too busy and he did not notice. When I finally got to get my food afterwards, he hooked me up with some free food for the work I did, so I got an extra large fry and some burgers as well as a thank you regardless. So that's the story of how I became a fry cook. I hope you enjoyed it. For this guy, that actually sounded like a pretty fun experience, especially that he got compensated for it. Like, I'd love to just go into some McDonald's kitchen, cook up some fries, and get some free food for it. That sounds like a really fun time. It must have been a pretty fun experience. Even though it was an accident, he didn't really seem to mind, and I honestly would have enjoyed it. I was sitting in my local Starbucks, getting a drink and talking to the baristas because I'm friends with them and I come in there for a drink a lot, right? Me and one of the baristas got on the subject of police, and he tells me that his brother got arrested for accidentally backing up into a police car, but was eventually fined. I respond with, "It's okay, all cops are bastards anyway," and this lady literally right next to me interjects and says very loudly, "Yeah, that's not funny, I'm a cop." I don't really know how to respond, so I just kind of snort and go, "Alright lady, whatever." She then gets even more upset at my laid back response and says, "I'll let the police department know that if you never need help to never come and rescue you because one day you'll need it," and takes her drink and huffs off. Me and the barista are just kind of standing there dumbfounded. She calls the store as soon as she leaves. She tells the manager, who I'm also friends with, that she was disgusted about my conduct, and if I was the kind of clientele that we would be serving, then she would not be back anytime soon. The manager doesn't really know what to do because she can't do much besides kick me out, which she never did because we were friends. A second lady calls the store on behalf of the first lady. However, she screws up and says an employee said it instead of a customer. I don't work at Starbucks. I've never worked at Starbucks. The worst part was that there was an actual worker with the same name and almost got written up, and I had to go talk to the district manager and tell them that it wasn't her who said it, it was me. That was the only point where I felt bad. As a joke, my friend who was the manager that day looks at me dead in the eye and goes, "I'm sorry, we're gonna have to let you go. Please turn in your apron." And that's the story of how I got fired from a job I never worked at. Although calling a cop that name is not right, I highly doubt that this woman was actually a cop. I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to say that they'll call the police department and say to not rescue you. Even if you're not the nicest person in the world, if you call 911, they're going to be out there to help you if an emergency happens. So I'm pretty sure that's not actually a cop. But you never know, some people are just weird. I came in to do some Valentine's Day shopping early because I had a shift later that day. I was not wearing any of the company attire. I had a plain gray t-shirt and khakis. Our dress code is a vest with the store logo and our badge name, and we can wear whatever we want under it. I came in and got my stuff. As I was walking past my department, I see my boss looking at me giving a weird look, in which I shout, "Not working yet, shopping." She nodded and I continue on. I walked over to the self-checkout and started waiting in line. Then I hear over the PA system someone calling for an associate to come assist a customer in my department. Not on the clock, not my problem, right? I don't know the self-checkout attendants very well. We recognize each other, but that's about it. It's my turn, so I go over and start paying for my groceries. One of the attendants starts staring at me until she comes over. Self-checkout girl: "Aren't you gonna get that?" What? "You're the only one in X department right now, right?" "No, I'm not working." "Then who is?" "I have no darn idea. Go look at the schedule for today. I don't work until this afternoon." She slumps her shoulders and walks off. I continue paying for my stuff and I go. This happened once before too. I came in one day and my supervisor practically ran me down and shouted, "Thank God you're here, I need you to do this." And I was like, "Nope," and turned around and walked right out of the store. His mouth had a massive O face. My boss was standing right there too and started laughing. I was wearing a crop top that showed my stomach. Seriously, do you see the company logo on my badge? Do I look like I'm working when I'm wearing flip-flops? Let me shop. It must be awkward though, shopping at the stores that you work at. Like, I'd tend to go to the other stores so I didn't have to run into everyone I didn't want to see. And this is where I'm going to conclude today's video. I appreciate you watching if you're still here. If you guys want to join my Discord, link is in the description. I highly recommend it. Also, follow me on Instagram. Link is also in the description as well. Also, thank you for 7K subscribers. Like I said, the support's been truly amazing. Everything is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching my videos. I will have another upload out in the next few days. And thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.